Oh, God, he's talking about sobriety again. Howdy, y'all, and welcome back. Look, all of this stuff that I'm going to talk about today actually applies to a lot of areas in our life, not just sobriety, but if you're trying to lose weight, if you've got a rocky marriage, a job you hate, you're trying to get back in shape. Like, there's a ton of different areas in our life that you can apply HALT, and where the Fuggits are kind of your problem. So, what are the Fuggits? Well, should be pretty like self-evident, I think, by the term. But in the context of getting sober, it's maybe you have a week or 3 days or 3 months, and at some point in the day, you're going along, and all of a sudden you just say, fuck it, I'm going to get drunk tonight. I don't even care anymore. What's the point? Why am I even trying? Again, if you're trying to lose weight, and you're down a few pounds and you've been doing really good, and then something happens at work and you're like, fuck it, I'm getting a whole box of Oreos and I'm just gonna pound them. Like, the fuck it's right. It's when you've been on a path, you're trying to do a good thing with your life, and then you just blow it. Okay, it might be like an infidelity situation. There may be some coworker that you work with and they're flirting with you, and you just say, fuck it, and you go take them out to dinner or something. Like, it's a thing that happens. It's a human condition problem, right? So when you feel yourself like in the moment of fuck it, this is when we apply HALT. And what does that mean? It's hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So hungry is pretty self-explanatory. If you're hungry, eat. Like, we make terrible decisions that affect the whole rest of our life, sometimes just because we are malnourished. We are hungry, and just now, when I say eat, I don't mean go eat the box of Oreos. Try to eat something decent, some quality food, something with some protein and a little fat, right? Like, nourish your body before you take the next course of action. So before you go cheat on your spouse or steal something from work or go buy a bottle of Jack, hit the brakes. Am I hungry? When was the last time I ate? You know what? Let me go, like, run around the corner, get a meal of food, calm down, and just, like, rethink this whole thing, right? Angry. Are you angry? What are you angry about? Who are you angry with? Is there something you can do about it in the present moment? Or are you angry at some shit that happened to you in your childhood or 10 years ago, or your ex-husband or your ex-wife, or like, what are you angry about? And is there something you can do about it or not? If there is something you can do about it, then sit down, maybe eat a little something first, sit down and devise a course of action. How can I get unangry about this thing, right? Or can you not? Like, if you're just mad because, like, Joe Biden is president, get over yourself, okay? Because you can't do anything about that. If you're angry about some shit that happened to you in your childhood, maybe you need some counseling. So maybe that's the course of action you want to take, is like, how do I stop being angry about this, right? But address it as is it in the present moment, and acknowledge why you're angry, and see if there isn't something you can do about it that doesn't involve breaking this, like, whatever course you've been on, right? So, okay, I can stop being angry without the box of Oreos or the fifth of Jack or whatever, right? Is this making sense? I hope. Okay, lonely. So H.A.L., lonely. Are you just lonely? Have you been isolating in your house for too long? Maybe you work from home now, and it's always, isolating has been a long, like, especially in AA, it's a big thing that comes up a lot. But with people working from home more than ever, it's got to be just rampant that people are just old-fashioned lonely. So what can you do about it? Call up an old friend or a family member. Just maybe get yourself out in like a public space, like a park, or go to the mall, or just be somewhere around people. You don't even have to really interact with them. Just get yourself out of the isolated, lonely place of your house by yourself, right? Now, you might be lonely at home with your family. That's a thing too. So maybe, again, call a friend, reach out to somebody that will listen to you, or worst case, get on social media, hit Messenger up, reach out to an old friend, or like just stop being alone with your thoughts in your head, because sometimes that's the very worst place you can be, is in your own head, in your thoughts. So step outside of yourself. This is the reason AA meetings are a thing, is because you get out of your house to go to the meeting, and then afterwards there's usually some kind of fellowshipping where you go out to a diner or go bowling or something, and you're just around other human beings. And that is very, very helpful when we are trying to break bad habits or maintain the new good habits that we're working on. All right, so hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. That's a no-brainer. Are you just worn out? Have you been not sleeping well? What can you do to get better sleep? Sleep. I'm a just wired to be a night owl. My mother is a night owl. My dad is a bit of one as well. So I'm kind of like double fucked down the hereditary. Like I go to bed super, super late. If I have to wake up early to do something, I'm going to be dragging ass all day long. But I do my best to catch a power nap. And sometimes a power nap, like you can just wake up and you got drool and you just feel like a whole different human being. So maybe that is the like recipe for success for you, is just go find some corner of your office or go out to your car, lean the seat back, get one of those little travel mask things and just knock out for like 10 minutes. Set an alarm if you need to. But we make terrible decisions when we are tired and cranky and like, so if you're hungry and you're tired, like you're gonna be a jerk. Don't make decisions that are gonna affect the rest of your life in that condition, right? So if you're gonna make terrible decisions, make sure that you are well rested and well fed, and you're not mad about something, and you're not just like sad and lonely. And then if you're gonna make that terrible decision anyway, it's because you got the fuckits, and you're just gonna do it anyway. And that just means it's not your time to be sober or lose weight or whatever the thing you're working on yourself, right? And sometimes that's just gonna happen. You're gonna fail. It's not the end of the world. Just get back up, dust yourself off, and try again tomorrow. The worst thing you can do is get inside your head and isolate and then start hating yourself and like, oh, I'm just not worth it. And this is I'm what, like, that's the wrong course of action. So sometimes you need to just, if you get the fuckets and they take over and they win and you end up going out and getting loaded, it's going to happen a few times before the thing sticks. If you're down 20 pounds and you've been doing great and you're like, oh, I just don't care anymore, and you just blow your diet, it's not the end of the world. Just pick back up tomorrow and move on. In fact, I think too much emphasis is put, like in the program of AA, on failing. Like we get real hung up on the counting the days and counting the months, and then if you fail and you go out, as they call it, then you got to start back over with day one, and it feels like this like crushing, and I think it's maybe would be a little bit healthier to look at it more like, well, I did 3 months here and then I drank. But in the last 3.5 months, I've only drank one time. That's pretty good, right? So like allow that success, that first 3 months, to matter. Let it mean something to you. Dust yourself off and move forward. But hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and the fuckets. if you feel the Fuggits coming on, get a hold of them before you take that action that you know you don't really want to take. And see if one of those four areas doesn't at least calm the craving. It may not fix the craving, but it might calm the craving. I know for me, when I drank, so many times, and almost every time that I did something really, really epically stupid, I did it when I started drinking without eating first. Like, I was the champion of skip dinner altogether and just start drinking at like 5 o'clock or 4:30 or 7 or whatever. Did it all the time. So now I'm getting loaded on an empty stomach, which we all know is bad math. And like, if I had just at least pumped the brakes long enough to feed myself first and then continued to go ahead and get loaded anyway, it might have been less train wrecky, right? So, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Put that in your toolbox of life, and I hope maybe it helps at least a little bit. That's all I got for today. Until next time, be easy, y'all.